Are you constantly blowing up during arguments? Do you regularly regret the things you're saying? If this sounds familiar, it's really important, brother, that you get a handle on this because you're destroying the emotional safety in your marriage. And if it continues, your wife can check out. Now, my name's Luke Finn, and I'm the founder of the ARC system, where we've helped hundreds of dads struggling in a marriage transform their marriage into a new unbreakable marriage. And today, I'm going to be teaching you why you're struggling to stay calm during arguments, and more importantly, 3 tips to ensure that you can stay calm during an argument. Now, I won't be doing this alone today. Today, I'm joined by our ARC legends. Let's welcome our ARC legends to the table. ARC legends, assemble. How are all you beautiful motherfuckers doing?
Awesome.
Welcome, guys. Good to see you guys again. So let's get into our session today, guys. The question that we have is from Justin. Justin from the US says, how can I stop her little jabs triggering me in an argument? So I think we're all familiar with this, the feeling of our wives, how they manage to get the better of us. We might be able to stay calm in business situations when things get heated, but why is it, guys? Why is it, ARC legends, that our wives seem to manage to get the better of us? Why is it that they can get us to all riled up and ready to go? Cowboy, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, let's start off. I mean, who else knows us better than our wife? Who else knows us better? I mean, anything she says, I mean, she knows exactly what buttons to push. She knows exactly how to push them. She knows exactly where to go with it. Every last little detail. And if it's not that, then we're already primed with a story that we're telling ourselves, like, oh, she's upset with me, or she's upset with this, and we just kind of let it spiral from there. So you combine those 2 things and you create the scenario that your wife can pretty much be your own puppet master.
Right. Now the question is, are the strings up above or are they down below? That's the question with the puppet master. Levi, what about you, man? Why do you think our wives manage to rile us up like no one else?
No, I think I 100% agree with Cowboy. They know us better than anybody else and knows how to push our buttons. Maybe it's their stuff, maybe it's our stuff that we have unresolved, and ultimately, I think it's like a bait for offense, and we can get offended and go into flight or fight pretty quick, and that's how we're wired. So it's pretty basic. I mean, I think I personally used to get very triggered by things because my wife knew me at the time, and at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. What you said, you can erode emotional safety.
Yeah, right on. Now, guys, if you're watching this video, we're going to go deep on how to navigate this situation. Make sure to smash the like button and leave us a comment, guys. This way you're going to help us spread the word and reach more dads that would like to stay calm during arguments. So help us out, smash the like button and leave a comment. We'd love to interact with you. So then Cowboy, not Cowboy, Optimus, maybe you can just tell us why do we lose our cool? Like a little bit, what's going on? Like, we now understand why women, our wives, can press the buttons because they know us so well. What's going on? Why do we, what's the reason for us to lose our cool?
Probably because of our expectations of, how we're supposed to both show up for a conversation and for the relationship. And if one person doesn't, it definitely triggers us in that way because we want to work together towards a problem and not against each other. So it's usually how that tends to happen is when you feel attacked, you kind of, you don't look at the problem to kind of solve it. You kind of almost are in a boxing match against each other rather than actually coming together to actually solve the problem.
That's really good insight, man. And the key word here is attacked. So really good insight there, Optimus. Let's say hey to Jamie, who's joining us. Jamie, thank you for saying hi. It's great to have you on this session. All right, then let's go a little bit deeper here, guys, into what's going on. So so let's look at why do we blow up. So Optimus hit the nail on the head there, guys. It's when we feel attacked. So, but let's actually look at the mechanics of what's happening to you during a stressful situation or an argument with your wife. So first and foremost, as we all know in the ARC system, we are hardwired for survival. Guys, I think anybody that's watching this video, you should be able to agree and let us know in the comments. Do you agree? Are you hardwired for fun and pleasure, or are you hardwired for survival? Our biological, so our anatomy has not changed much over the hundreds of thousands of years. So although we live in a modern world, we are still very much cavemen in the respect of we are hardwired safe. We are hardwired to avoid threat and to stay alive so that we can reproduce. And this is done by your autonomic nervous system. So our autonomic nervous system, you can just see it as an alarm system. It's there to keep you safe and keep you alive, not to keep you happy, not to keep you enjoying your life, but to make sure that you can survive and not get killed and reproduce. And the way this autonomic nervous system works, guys, is done by a process of neuroception. Neuroception is where you are subconsciously constantly looking for threats. So even on a call like this, so with myself and the Arc Legends, we're reading each other's body language. You're feeling, do I feel comfortable or do I not feel comfortable? Is there any threats here? And as like for an example like this on a live video, maybe we feel threatened showing up on a live video and we're starting to have a fight or flight response, although we're completely safe. And what's really interesting here, guys, is our autonomic nervous system does not work in isolation. It actually interacts with other nervous systems. So at the moment, I'm here with our Arc Legends, and we are interacting. We're co-regulating. So if I was to be getting worked up or to start getting aggressive, the guys would also probably could go into fight or flight, or maybe just like they usually do, tell me to fuck off. But it's happening all the time. Maybe you guys, who's had that experience with your kids, right? Who's had the experience where your kid starts to escalate, and rather than being a grown up, what do? We fucking escalate with them, and we out escalate them and drop the bomb, right? And what happens there, guys? Does that usually turn out well?
Nope.
No, it's just chaos, utter chaos.
It's a total shit show, and you guys know now because you are masters of your at regulating your emotions. You know how important it is to be able to stay calm. So, guys, for the guys watching this video, remember that you co-regulate. So that's why it's important to stay calm. If you're getting worked up in a stressful situation with your wife, you're feeding off each other. So really, emotional regulation is the most important, but for yourself, but then also to be able to co-regulate your partner. All right, so moving on from the neuroception, and guys, what's really important is this is all subconscious. So you're not like consciously thinking about threats in your environment. It's all subconscious. And basically all of us are finely tuned threat detectors all the time, paying attention to differences in our environment. The way I like to describe it in our ARC system is your autonomic nervous system is like the alarm on a car. So a car alarm is a good thing. We want to keep it, right? Because if somebody breaks in, we want to go off and to keep the car safe. But we've all seen that car that's parked up on the street and a gust of wind blows and the car goes off and everybody's like, oh, fuck that guy. And when you just get a car alarm fixed, pretty much all the guys. So if your marriage is in a difficult situation, more than likely you're in that situation where your alarm is being triggered really easily. You know, there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. And this is the way a lot of guys, I mean, guys, how much does this resonate with you when you joined the ARC system? How much were you in a state of anxiety and fear and looking for threats?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
All the time.
Always.
Right? Okay. And so when we react to that fear or that gust of wind and we're reacting all the time, it just drains us of energy and it prevents us from being able to take steady steps forward and showing up as the resourceful men that we were born to be. So yeah, it's really important. This is a good example of what our autonomic system, so what it's there to keep us safe, but also when we're struggling in our marriage and there's arguments, how it's meant to keep us safe, but it actually causes more issues because it's oversensitized, it's overactive. So this is what happened. Like we're modern day men. We have our wives maybe starting to escalate, but really we're still primitive guys. And instead of seeing that, what we're really seeing is we're seeing a big fuck off saber-toothed tiger that's going to eat us. Right. And nobody likes that. Like when you got your wife coming at you, it can be a scary situation and it can cause us to make some mistakes. So guys, what are the mistakes that you've made in the past when things got escalated in your relationship? Can you guys remember some of the kind of mistakes that you've made? Go for it, Optimus.
That's that whole reaction rather than responding. So, you know, words come out that you probably didn't want to say, and you lose that emotional safety like everyone's been talking about. It's just, you know, you use it as a means to kind of, you know, throw your own jab in there. And just like you're in a boxing ring, that's exactly what I pretty much portray it as, is like you're in a boxing ring together against each other rather than looking at the problem.
Yeah, that's a really good way of looking at it. How about you, Cowboy?
I don't really know.
What kind of mistakes have you? What kind of mistakes have you made when things got heated?
Optimus kind of already touched on it. Eye for an eye mentality.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotcha.
oh yeah,
What about-
and then now it turns into a one-up situation.
yeah. What about you, Levia?
Yeah, exactly the same thing. I got to probably name calling, saying things you don't mean, and
Yeah.
I think the hard part is ultimately, like you said, you erode emotional safety, but then on
Yeah.
the back end of that, it can be very, very easily used against you to the point where it's like verbal abuse or something of the sort, right? And that's
Correct.
where the level you don't want to get at.
Right. I remember myself and Evie, when we first got together, we used to have the like most crazy fights. And for me, because I don't want to be on here pretending to be preaching like I'm some kind of Jedi master or Buddha. I'm not. You guys know me. I'm emotional. I don't have any. I don't have any wish to change. I like the person I am, but I am emotional, and so on. Those emotions means I have to do a lot of emotional regulation. I'm constantly in the gym working on my emotional regulation because I get really high highs and I get lows. So this is the kind of thing. We're all a little bit different. Some of us are more even keeled, but that means you don't get to regulate your emotions enough. And then there's people like me where we got the whole spectrum and we're constantly working on emotional regulation. So let's look at then why this is actually happening then. So we talked about the mistakes that we made. So mistakes I used to make is I used to slam doors. I would get aggressive. Like, and look, we're big guys. And so when we get aggressive, our women, which are usually smaller than us, are going to feel intimidated by that. And that's another way that we erode emotional safety, like Levi was talking about. So, but let's look at why we make these mistakes. I think it's a really interesting topic to go in here. So what's happening on an anatomic level? So what's happening, guys, when we get into an argument with our wife, our prefrontal cortex activity decreases. So the prefrontal cortex is used for decision-making and rational thought. So that just takes a dive, like that gets shut down because you're being attacked. You're literally being, in your mind, you're being attacked. Or as Optimus put it, you're in the ring, you need to fight for your life. So your body is now going to stop prioritizing rational thought and logical thinking, decision-making, and prioritize, let's keep this motherfucker alive, right? And so this is why we end up making these mistakes, like saying things that we don't mean or slamming doors, because we're literally going back into this primal state, right? And what's happening also is stress hormones are being flooded into your brain and your body. So the amygdala in your brain is responsible for that fight or flight, and it's pumping the adrenaline, it's pumping cortisol into your body to mobilize you, because we either got to fight for our life or we're going to run because we can't tackle that situation, right? And this is why we make these mistakes that we just covered. So now let's look, guys, at what are the 3 steps that we can take and that Justin can take to start staying calm, right? We've looked at why it happens. Let's look at the 3 steps that you can take to stay calm during an argument. The first one, guys, is a very simple one. You guys are all familiar with it. We teach it in the ARC system. It's physiological sigh. Now, this is a clinically tested breathing technique that is going to regulate your autonomic nervous system in real time. So let's do a little exercise here, guys. You guys already know it, but for you guys that are watching here live, it's a really simple exercise. What you want to do is you want to take one deep inhale, and then you want to top up. So it's like a, and then a long sigh. So you guys can do it with me if you want, or you can't. I'll do it all by myself. But really simple, guys. Do it for 10 seconds. What you can do is this physiological sigh. So I want you to notice, just doing a couple of these breaths, you already start to feel more chill. All right. So we had this question in one of our sessions during the week, guys. I'm not sure whether you remember, where one of our ARC legends, Christian, asked Luke, because we also teach different modalities on how to regulate your emotions. And one of them is the tapping. So where you're tapping your face. And he's like, but Luke, I don't want to look like a nut job when I'm in the office and I'm starting to, escalate. How do I stay calm? And this was the answer we gave him. It was, okay, do the physiological sigh. A couple of seconds, do it in the office, go away for a second. It's going to regulate your autonomic nervous system. It's going to calm you down. What it does is it de-escalates. So the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the fight or flight, it brings it down, and it brings up your parasympathetic nervous system, which is for rest, recuperation, and reproduction, all that good shit. Okay, so try it out, guys, if you're on watching this video, and let us know in the comments, are you feeling the effects from your physiological sigh? The second step is the power of awareness. the power of awareness is so incredible. Without awareness, we're unaware of what's going on. We're just literally walking into the problem. Things are getting worse, and we don't know why it's happening. I like to describe it as like GTA. Do we have any gamers on the call today, guys? Any gamers here? I think we're all old enough here to remember GTA. We don't want to give away our ages too much here, but GTA, when I think about it, was one of the games that came out when I was a teenager. And here we can see it's first person, and you can see pretty much we're in a fight here. We're shooting, we're blowing shit up, and we're in first person. It's happening. It's happening, and we have no way to do anything. We got Jamie saying he's a mad gamer. Good for you, Jamie. Well done. And when we're in this situation, we're reacting. Like, we're not aware of our surrounding. We're just in there. Things are happening. We have no awareness. Now, how this shifts the power of awareness is when we start becoming aware of our behaviors and we start becoming aware of our thoughts. Like, the thoughts are coming in, we disidentify from the thoughts. We can step back and realize that we're actually the observer. And what that looks like, being the observer, is like when you step back in GTA in a third person view. And now, rather than being so involved and it's happening and we're shooting or we're being shot at, we're like, okay, here's a situation. There's a man walking towards me, or it's my wife. She looks kind of upset. Time for me to start doing the physiological sigh. Time for me to start doing some different behaviors. Here we have a little bit of space to be able to start having a different behavior. I'd love to hear from our ARC Legends. How much has that helped you guys, that power of awareness in your relationship, and not just with your wives, but like in life in general? How much has that been a game changer now that you have that awareness, that you're not just reacting, but you're responding? Let's start off with Optimus. How has your life shifted since learning these techniques?
Huge. It's changed conversations. It's changed relationships. It totally puts a different spin on how people show up for you, as well as yourself showing up for yourself, and your mindset too, because, conversations are a big aspect of life. We, try and look for relationships in any avenue we are out, getting a cup of coffee or, at work. So, it's a big part of who we are.
Awesome. Very cool, Optimus. What about you, Cowboy?
Yeah. So I think it's helped de-escalate a lot of situations before it really turned into anything. I work in the construction industry, and tempers get pretty heated there pretty quickly, and over silly stuff too. Over pretty silly stuff too. So I think just having that awareness of myself it's been able to de-escalate situations that I wasn't even part of sometimes, just offering that sense of calm and, what's that word I'm looking for? I can't think of what it is, but that calm and resolve, if you will.
Resilient, grounded. Yeah.
Yeah. Rationale.
Yeah.
Rationale. And, just
wonderful.
Like
wonderful,
Optimus says, it's huge.
Yeah. And what about you, Levia? We've seen your journey in the ARC system. So you're one of our elders, one of our mentors. So the guys look up to you a lot, man. And we've seen the challenges that you've gone through and how you've shown up. So how has the power of awareness helped you, brother?
Same exact word. It's huge. I own a business as well where I have multiple employees, and at times they would like to challenge me, similar to like what would happen in a relationship. Actually happened this week. And, I think going into any situation at this point, I am able to remain fully calm, whether it's using techniques like tapping or breathing, but at the same time, I already have that awareness beforehand that I don't get triggered. I remain calm. I try to hear the people out, but at the same time, I have boundaries for myself. So you're coming from an empowered place, where you're the mature one, and you can also look and have some insight and empathy to what the other person's going through and not react. And I think that overall balance throughout multiple types of relationships has improved my quality of life. It allows me to show up as a leader, as a owner, a boss, and even in my current relationship, I think she really values the fact that I don't react to anything, and I actually calm her down and I show up as that leader, which is essentially what the whole ARC system kind of teaches as well, right? And
right on, man.
It's going to make an unbreakable marriage. It's one of those things where, I wish years ago I'd had that skill to not react. you know? 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know,
It's like we
outcomes-
say, like we say, coming into the ARC system, best case would have been 20 years ago. Second best case is now today, man. So thank you for sharing that. Now, if you'd like to become a leader in your marriage, I'd recommend checking out the link down below. Enroll in the ARC Masterclass, where you're going to learn the techniques that we've been talking about today, and maybe you'll get the opportunity to join our ARC legends that you've met today and get on that journey to creating this new unbreakable marriage. So guys, let's land the plane here and look at step 3 with regards to how to stay calm during an argument. And it's a mindset shift, really, really important. I think the mistake that most of us make, guys, is naturally we get defensive, right? We feel like we're being attacked, like you said, Optimus. We feel like this is all on us and we have to defend ourselves. And that's the biggest mistake that we make. A huge mindset shift is she's struggling, right? If we want to go from GTA first person to GTA third person to create a little bit of space for yourself so we're not so reactive, it's when our wives start to get worked up that we go, oh, she's struggling, because you guys know how to master your emotions, how to regulate your emotions. And let's also be honest, this doesn't mean that all of us here are Jedis and that we don't get worked up sometimes. We're human beings. I think it's also really important for everybody watching this video. The goal isn't to become somebody that has no emotions, but the goal is that we are more aware of the emotions, that we have the tools to process those emotions. And basically what that means is we might still react to certain situations. Very quickly we get back to being even-keeled and being resourceful, because ultimately that's what we want, guys, right? We want to be able to move through life resourcefully. So how much did that help you guys, this mindset shift of when things, not just like with your wives, but in life now, when shit starts to hit the fan, guys, or with maybe in work, whatever, or somebody's getting worked up, how much does that help to have that mindset shift of, rather than, okay, I got to defend myself, it's more kind of curious of, oh, well, they're struggling. What's going on for them? Cowboy, how much does that help for you, for instance, in construction?
Well, it's allowed me to kind of pull myself away from again, like from situations before they actually start turning into something. Step away and process that. Hey, hold on. He's going through this, but then you start thinking about things like, okay, the deadline that they have to follow, and then they're just taking their stress and frustrations out on everybody else or whatever, or on me or whatever. And it's like, hey man, I want to work with you, but let's talk about this instead of having you yell at it, like yelling and screaming over this or whatever. I've been able to apply it to create some sort of calm.
Wonderful, man. That's absolutely awesome. So to just recap on what we discussed today, guys, those 3 tips, right? So the first one was the physiological side. We got to regulate our emotions first. So important. The second tip was the power of awareness, to become aware of our behaviors so that we have this little bit of buffer to actually see what's going on, so we don't just react, that we can actually respond. And the third tip was then the mindset shift, to understand that when our wives are starting to get so aggravated or escalating the situation, that it's actually they're struggling. They don't know how to regulate their emotions like you guys. They're not badasses. They need our help. So that's really key. So now that you understand how to stay calm during an argument with your wife, you're going to want to watch this next video where I'm going to cover the communication framework to effectively de-escalate situations, conflict situations in your marriage.